Yet another attempt underway to plug the leak on the bottom. With his perspective on all this, we're joined now by John Hofmeister. He is founder and CEO of the group Citizens for Affordable Energy, also the former president of Shell Oil. Mr. Hofmeister, you have suggested in a written editorial that there are all kinds of ways something like this might have happened, including human error. How so, sir?
Well, I'm deeply concerned that after 35,000 wells drilled safely and successfully, after 40 years of history, we have this uncontrolled blowout. The equipment works. The rigs are powerful machines. And when you look at airplane wrecks or other kinds of serious tragedies, you have to wonder, how could this happen? And so I'm looking, from my perspective, and I think the whole industry is watching to see, did we have mistaken judgments? Did we have inexperience? Did we have flawed communications? What could have happened that led to so many systems collapsing all at the same time, including, did we have a compromised blowout protector that should have been shut down, taken off the seabed, and either repaired or replaced? These are all human decisions that could have led to this tremendous tragedy.
Sir, for those of us who don't understand the technology of all this, you are saying that you have great faith in the technology and you have faith in the tools. So when you look at something, you don't look at that first. You look at the human factor.
Well, I'm particularly looking at the human factor because so many things went wrong so quickly. After all of this experience and history in the past, when the industry moves forward on these very high-risk projects, one of the most important control points that we use within the industry is time. Do not rush. If you rush, you can do serious harm. If you don't have experienced people in all the key positions, judgments made in the moment can do serious harm. There are so many human checkpoints that really do surround these big projects, and they're very important to the success of the industry, and I think we have to pursue what could have gone wrong here with people.
I found it interesting. You mentioned there have been 35,000 successful wells and one disaster, although it is a major catastrophe. It was interesting how two parties reacted to all this. BP, which really didn't seem to have a plan for a disaster, and the federal government, which, I mean, the President of the United States had to come out and say, look, the oil industry knows more than us about this. They have the equipment and the people and the expertise. So we can't provide any kind of oversight other than to make it look like we're doing something. So nobody was prepared for a disaster of this magnitude.
The contingency plan in the industry has historically been the blowout protector, and it has historically been very successful as a contingency plan. This teaches us that's not good enough. So what's next? And already the American Petroleum Institute is working with the member companies to look at options. I'm sure the government and the president's panel look at options to that. We can't let this happen again. This never should have happened in the first place. It can't happen again. We must have oil in the economy. We can't stop drilling. We've got to supply whatever we do in the future, 50 years from now. We have a here and now situation that we economy. If we don't put hydrocarbons into it from our domestic production, then we have to import more oil. And that could put us, the United States, at more insecurity.
And of course, I guess you're aware that this single incident could lead to rewriting the entire U.S. energy policy.
It could. It could. And I'm in favor of the book I wrote, Why We Hate the Oil Companies, came out last week. What I'm interested in is a long-term energy future, because if we stay on our current course in my book, we're headed for an energy abyss. We need a revised energy plan for this country. We haven't had one in the last 40 years. I think it's time we had one.
John Hofmeister, founder, CEO of the group Citizens for Affordable Energy. Perhaps you know him better as the former president of Shell Oil. Sir, we appreciate your time today. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Facing enormous international pressure, Israel is expelling some of the nearly 700 active